Welcome to the High Value Sales Show of Eversprint.com. I'm Malcolm Louie, the managing member of Eversprint, and today we're speaking with Kevin Markarian, the founder of Markarian Real Estate, a firm that helps clients buy and sell homes in San Francisco neighborhoods. Welcome to the call, Kevin.
Thanks, Malcolm. Glad to be here.
Kevin, you grew your company's revenue from $125,000 in 2014 to $2.1 million in 2017, a 1,578% increase, and now you're on track to hit $5 million in 2018. Before we talk about how you grew your company so fast, can you briefly share what your company does beyond my quick intro and how your company differs from the competition?
Sure. So as you mentioned, we help people buy and sell homes. So we're a traditional residential real estate brokerage. We have agents that work with clients, work with buyers, work with sellers, help them accomplish either the American dream in terms of buying a home or maybe selling their existing home and moving up into something else or downsizing. One of the things that we do differently, we focus heavily on technology. As a company, as a real estate industry as a whole has been, is really lacking when it comes to utilizing technology and really leveraging the tools that are available to us. So one of the things that we do really well is, we've generated a huge amount of clients through online channels. Like we do a lot of online lead generation. We focus heavily on Facebook with Facebook targeting. We do a lot with social media, with video. And so in terms of helping agents and buyers and sellers have a competitive advantage in the marketplace, we're able to do that for them by leveraging a lot of the tools that are available to us through technology.
Fantastic. Looking back over the past few years, going from $125,000 in 2014 to $5 million by the end of this year in 2018, what were the three biggest drivers of your sales growth?
Well, first is one of the things I mentioned, which is leveraging technology. So we do a ton with online lead generation. So the first thing would be really, really tapping into tech and being able to create. That would be number one. Number two is to create systems to continually bring clients in. And so if you think about real estate is a profession where everyone's kind of an independent business owner. Everyone's an independent contractor. We're almost like our own little companies, each person. So the big challenge that agents have is, where's my next deal coming from? That's a big, big question. And that's why 9 out of 10 agents fail in the first 5 years. That's a statistic by the National Association of Realtors. 87% of agents fail in the first 5 years. And so to me, the big problem that agents face is not, being good salespeople or not, wanting to help people or whatever the case may be. It's how to generate clients, where do I get my next client? So we've been able to master that at Markarian Real Estate. We've leveraged technology to generate inquiries from people that are interested in buying and selling houses. And we do that better than a lot of companies. And so that's what's allowed us to grow at a really high level is we don't have that problem as far as like where's the next deal coming from, because we have systems in place that allow us to generate a high volume of inquiries, people that are interested. And we do it at a high level. So that's number two. That would be systems. Number three is once you generate those clients, then what do you do? And it really comes down to conversion. Is how do you convert? How do you work with clients at a high level to show them value, to provide them with the answers that they're looking for? Whether it's a buyer looking for, a home to purchase in San Francisco, one of the most competitive markets in the world. How do you provide a competitive advantage for them? Also, with regards to a seller, how, in a market like San Francisco, where people are putting in offers and getting $100,000 over their asking price. So there's a certain expectation from sellers that, okay, if I'm going to hire an agent, they need to deliver, really, really great results. And so we've been able to do that for them as well. So those are the three things. Number one is leveraging technology. and generating leads. Number 2 is systems, and number 3 is conversion and providing value to our clients.
Fantastic. Now, I know you talked a little bit already about the technology you're using, right? You mentioned Facebook ads, social media, videos. Can you elaborate in a little bit more detail as to maybe give some examples as how you're using technology to generate inquiries?
Sure. So really now, when we first started, there wasn't a lot of people doing this, but now, I kind of go all over the country and do and speak and share these thoughts, and there's people that are doing these things at a high level now. So there's a lot of people doing what we're doing now, but when we first started, we were using Zillow. You've heard of Zillow?
Yep.
Is a real estate company that provides listings on housing and homes for sale, stuff like that. And we started using Zillow in like 2006 or 2007. This is when it was kind of the first, their first leg in terms of coming into the marketplace. And we started using them very early on. Also like Realtor.com, we've used companies like that. And then we've like leveraged Google and really just done a lot with paid advertising on Google. So some examples, we're generating leads. People come in, they make inquiries. We then take those inquiries. We sort of we have like a call center that responds and answers questions, almost like a concierge. And then we basically, when people make inquiries, we have our concierge team ask them questions related to their inquiry, make sure that they're eligible or qualified to purchase a home, or kind of where they're at in the process. And then we kind of qualify that person, and then we assign that client to an agent on our team. And we kind of match those the client's requirements with agents on our team that are experts in that area, and to create a win-win situation. And what that allows us to do is, number one, we improve the client experience, because we have the concierge team that responds to them immediately, answers their questions, find out what's important to them, and so we improve their experience there. And then we assign them to an agent on our team that's going to be able to meet those expectations, who's an expert in the field, and provide a great experience for the customer. And at the same time, we're providing value to our agent, because as I mentioned earlier, a big challenge that agents face is, where's my next deal coming from? So if we agree on that, then us as a company being able to provide opportunities for agents to work with clients that have been pre-qualified, that are interested in working with agents that have the level of expertise that this particular agent might have. It's just a great combination, and that's what sets us apart. And that's just one example of how we can. What was your question?
Yeah, no, it's good. My original question was to have you elaborate a little bit more on how you're leveraging technology, and you've definitely answered that. So
okay,
the concierge team now, is this an in-house team that you have, or is this something you outsourced?
It's a combination. We have companies that we use to provide that service for us, number one, and then we also have in-house people that we've trained, and this is kind of like what Marker Real Estate is known for in the real estate industry. So we're a brokerage, and we also operate as a team. So we have this phrase that people kind of refer to us by, which is we're not a brokerage, we're not a team, we're kind of a teamerage. So we're okay. A brokerage. And it's funny because I have a good friend of mine who also, their company was on the Inc. 500 list a few times, and he says that we're the only real estate team in America that made the Inc. 500 list. So we're basically just a kind of a glorified real estate team, but and I take that as a compliment, because that's it's really it's a unique sort of a niche that we're in, and there's a trend in the industry to kind of follow that in that direction, with regards to providing value to agents while maintaining profitability is really important too, and we've been able to do that. Part of the reason why is because we operate as a team. We don't have your traditional sort of traditional expenses that are related to a more cookie cutter sort of a big box type brokerage with a huge amount of overhead. The majority of brokerages, believe it or not, are it's very difficult to be profitable as a brokerage. with all the overhead and staff and requirements, that are related to operating a brokerage. It's hard to be profitable. So a lot of people in the brokerage business have ancillary services that they provide, and they actually make their money off the ancillary products like escrow, like mortgage, like transaction coordinating, so on and so on. There's a lot of different things. But with us at Marker, we're actually profitable as a brokerage because we don't have your traditional structure, because we're able to provide leads, a value through leads that we send to our agents. But because we're leveraging technology, we don't need the traditional brick and mortar, like ground floor kind of operation. And that's what's allowed us to be very successful.
Can you elaborate on what expenses you don't have that a typical brokerage would have?
Well, if you think about like your traditional model, which is changing very fast because of disruptors like Zillow, like Realtor.com, like the online lead space has really changed the real estate industry. When I say online lead space, for people that don't know what I'm talking about, people in real estate know what I'm talking about. People that outside of the business don't know, maybe don't know, and that is we have listings as a community, real estate community. We'll have X number of listings, 100 listings. These are exclusive listings that are to our company, and we can post those listings on a website. Now, Zillow and the portals have agreements with the multiple listing service, which is where we post those listings, that allows them to show those listings on their site as well. So that means that they can then, if somebody wants information on that listing, they can go to Zillow, and then Zillow can then sell that person's information back to me, even though I'm the one that owns the listing.
Right.
Right. So that's where there's there's value there for sure if I'm not the one that has the listing, in my opinion. But there's also, some controversy there, right, too, because if I'm the one that has that listing and I'm an exclusive broker, and then Zillow takes that listing and then resells the lead back to me, even though I'm the one that procured the listing, that's like a challenge that people face. And that's what I mean by online lead space. That's why it's changed the industry so much. So as far as Marker Real Estate, we've taken advantage of those changes. So because of that, we are able to generate this high volume of leads, which in turn has allowed us to not have your traditional ground floor, brick and mortar space with a massive overhead of operating a huge office space, because we don't need it, frankly. We don't need that. What's the purpose of it? What's the purpose of having a ground floor brick and mortar office space? Beyond agents working in this space, which we do have that. We have relationships with companies like Regis. We have really beautiful conference room space. We have more like a shared floor, like WeWork. Have you heard of WeWork?
Yes, heard of them before.
So that kind of environment where it's a professional setting. We've created partnerships with, for example, we have a partnership with the San Francisco Tennis Club. It's a very high-end, high dollar membership club with people that are very wealthy and what have you, and they're interested a lot of times in real estate. So we have a partnership with them. We have an office inside their facility. The cost of that office is significantly lower than what an office would be on a ground floor somewhere in San Francisco.
Right.
So that the point is, beyond an agent needing a workspace, in my opinion, the reason why most brokerages have office space is for, number one, for visibility. They want to be seen, signage, what have you, branding and all that. Second is you want walk-ins, right? Yep. So that's important to be able to have walk-ins. Well, let me ask you this. In my view, the signage and visibility part, I don't need to worry about that because I'm more visible online and I can target the people that are relevant, the audience that's relevant to my business online. And I can be seen by more people online than any brokerage in any area, right? For the most part, I can control my audience. I control the eyeballs. Okay.
Right.
So that's number one. Number two is in terms of walk-ins. Let me ask you this, Malcolm. How many people do you think get up every day or people that are interested in buying or selling a house. How many people do you think get up and say, hey, let's go, I want to sell my house. Let's go find out what Johnny's doing over on the corner office and talk to him and find out, what's on the market, what's available. Like, nobody's doing that, right?
Right.
Like that maybe like in 1994, like people were doing that. But now everyone's starting online. They're looking for the information online. So why am I going to go spend a huge amount and have this massive overhead that's gonna reduce my bottom dollar when I can accomplish the same exact thing, if not more, better. I can be more visible. I can have more walk-in traffic, if you will, quote unquote walk-in, meaning my walk-ins are online. My front door is my phone, right? I don't need to have that ground floor brick and mortar. And then I can still accomplish the requirement that agents have, which many agents nowadays are working remotely anyway. There's a lot of home offices and stuff like that. But for agents that want to work out of an office space, I can accomplish that through partnerships with the San Francisco Tennis Club, where it's actually more beneficial to have an agent inside of a place where they are surrounded by potential clients versus being surrounded by other agents in an office setting that's costing me a stupid amount of money that I don't want to pay. And so that's how we're able to stay profitable.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, you shared with me a little bit about the technology that you're using. Now, I guess one last question on that front. Which media channel are you using the most to find your leads? Is it Facebook? Is that where you're finding them? Is it Google AdWords, the pay-per-click, or is it something entirely different?
Right now, Facebook, I'll give you an example. We've used the portals, like Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia. We've done a lot with them. Also Google. But to give you an example, one client inquiry, it's gotten to a point now where the portals are so popular, like Zillow, Trulia, and Realtor.com and those guys, within the real estate community, that they've been able to increase their prices so much that one lead might cost in a particular area, one lead might cost $150 for one click, one person submitting their information. Now, as far as how that compares to, let's say, Facebook, I can get somebody to provide their information on Facebook, and we might pay $3. So now somebody listening in and saying, okay, well, what's the quality of that lead? So I would say that as far as the Realtor.com and Zillow and those guys, yes, they will be lower in the funnel, meaning they'll be more likely to transact sooner than probably someone on Facebook. But the cost, number one, the cost is so much different, so much lower to focus on through social media, to market people through social media, that I'm willing to go further upstream, go higher in the funnel, meaning people that are less likely to transact in a short amount of time. I'm willing to take that chance by paying less and getting more volume on a higher funnel client than I would for that lower funnel client, and paying a significantly higher price. One step further on that, those clients that are in that low funnel with the portals, those guys are being competed for, we're competing for those people. There's multiple people that are competing for that client, like, right? Because they're lower funnel.
Right.
So they're clicking on other things too.
Yep.
Versus the person on Facebook that's higher funnel, there may not be as much competition for that particular client. So
right.
as long as we can stay in front of them, when I say staying in front of them, what I mean by that is by nurturing, by sending them information regularly. Maybe they're not ready to buy or sell today, right now, but they may be ready to buy or sell 6 months from now. They may be ready to do something 3 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. I just want to be there when they're ready to make the decision. So as long as if you're working those higher funnel leads, which what we've been focusing on more lately, as long as you have the campaigns and the nurture and the ability to follow up, where you're staying in front of them with content that's relevant, that's valuable, they'll remember you when it's time.
Yep.
So that's what's important.
Now, have you done? It sounds like you probably have done this already. And can you share ultimately with your systems and the marketing you're doing now what your cost of a paying client, one who does a transaction with you at the end of the day, going through the funnel, starting at $3 to get the lead. And of course, not all of them do business with you. You know, some number will ultimately do business with you. Have you figured out what your cost per paying client acquisition is through your system and how that compares before if you were to use the likes of, you know, Trulia and Zillow and Realtor.com?
You're saying you want to calculate everything, all the leads that we're generating, or each individual person?
At the end of the day, right? I mean, you know, you set up a marketing system, you're getting people to give their information at $3 a click. And you know, out of 1,000 people who do that, maybe only one end up doing a transaction for you, right? So then essentially you paid $3,000 for that one customer. And this is just my numbers, right? Not your numbers. I'm just asking what your cost of acquiring that one customer is versus what it would have been if you had used Zillow, the likes of Zillow instead.
Our average, so overall, if you take everything, we're about, for every dollar spent, it's about $6.50 back. So total. If you want to talk about like comparison between like Zillow and these guys, so with Facebook, we're probably higher, closer to like 7 or 8. There's other Facebook providers, like companies that we use, that it's 10x return. With Zillow and Realtor.com, it's closer to like 3 or 4. But those are happening sooner. They're happening faster, so we're converting them faster. But they're low. But the return is a little bit lower, but it's still a good return. And with Google, it's probably around 3 to 4. So it varies based on the platforms, but right now we're seeing the biggest return either through Realtor.com because of the quickness of the transaction, and then with Facebook.
Right. So you're still using all the other platforms and not going exclusively through your own system through Facebook, right? Sounds like the returns you're getting from Zillow, Realtor.com, Google, still attractive enough for you to still pay for the leads from those sources.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Definitely.
Fantastic.
Definitely. Yeah.
Can you maybe give an example of the systems that you've created that help you take a lead through your technology platform and help move them to becoming a paying client?
Yeah, sure. So if somebody makes an inquiry, the first thing that happens is they'll get. So let me back up. When one problem that, according to the National Association of Realtors, they asked clients their biggest their biggest gripe with agents, and overwhelmingly the response has been the lack of response. Like, most agents don't get back to clients. That's number one. Number two is response time is incredibly important. Response time is incredibly important. So, and especially if you think about like online inquiries that are being made. We talked earlier about walk-ins versus online leads. Yes, with walk-ins, I would agree that you have, someone who walks into your office is probably a good client, right? Like potential, like that's a good quality opportunity because you have someone that's like literally physically walked in, you have their undivided attention, they're in front of you, and they're ready to talk to somebody right now. So that's wonderful. With an online inquiry, someone who makes an inquiry online, you don't have their undivided attention, right? They're not necessarily interested in one particular company to work with or one particular person for the most part. They usually just want information. They're looking for an answer. And so because of the sort of lack of attention, I guess is maybe the right way to say it. We cannot, if somebody makes an inquiry, we can't afford to let them go, to let too much time go by, because they're going to go click on other properties too. They're going to look at other agents as well. So response time is incredibly important. So to answer your question, what we do is first and foremost is we respond fast, within usually less than a minute or 30 seconds, immediately, as quickly as possible.
24/7, doesn't matter what time they are checking things out?
Great question. So during business hours, we'll respond with a phone call and we'll follow up with text and email. But if it comes in overnight, then we do respond, but it's with text.
Okay.
And it's with, so we're not going to call someone at 3 a.m.
Right.
But with our call center, we will ask them for permission if they're available. We'll call them at 3 a.m. Yes, if it's okay with them.
Right.
Like, we ask for permission.
Okay.
And sometimes we get responses like, "How are you working? Like, what is this? Like, why are you responding to me this late?" And then we just reply back like, "We're a 24-hour concierge team. We just want to make sure that we're getting back to you with the answers that you're looking for, and we just want to be able to provide value and help you answer your questions." So usually that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, yeah.
I imagine if you just said, "Yeah, this is how we do business. When our clients have questions, we want to answer them as soon as possible." I mean, how many other of your competitors do that at 3 a.m. on a Sunday night?
Yeah. And so, but once in a while, people will not be so happy about it, and it's fine. Usually it's okay. And then, so we'll try to start a conversation. And I think a lot of people thinking about marketing maybe don't, or maybe they do get it. I think successful people get it. Marketing is all about starting a conversation. That's what marketing is about. We want to start a conversation with someone. So, and once we start the conversation, the next step is to get face-to-face, and then you start transacting. Whatever your business model is, maybe it's not getting face-to-face, but you want to get to the point where we start transacting. So for us in real estate, we start with a conversation, and then it gets to face-to-face usually is how business is handled. And so we're trying to get to that point as quickly as possible. So when we make those calls and we'll respond via text or email, the objective is, can we get face-to-face? Can we meet? Can we talk? Can we talk about your goals? Talk about what it is that you want to do? And then hopefully the answer is yes. And if we do that, then if we do get to yes, then we start asking pre-qualifying questions. If it's a buyer, have you been pre-approved by a lender? What area you want to look in, so on and so forth. And then we try to assign that person to an agent on our team. And we discussed it a little bit earlier, which is we take those qualifications or requirements that the client might have, and then put them with an agent on our team that is an expert that can help them with their needs. And then we make a match there, and then off they go. And we use a CRM. We use a company called Follow Up Boss. And we're tracking all the correspondence. The agents are responsible for keeping track, for making sure it's that everyone's on the same page. So the concierge team knows, maybe we have to pick up the phone and call and thank the client for something, or remind them about something, or confirm an appointment. So it's very important for us to be all on the same page when it comes to the communication. And then we just, we kind of let the agents kind of take it from there with us kind of helping out and guiding if necessary. And then there are times when we make those inquiries, or we make those responses to inquiries, and the conversation doesn't go the way we want it to, and maybe they're not necessarily ready to buy or sell today. They're not ready to meet with anyone today. So then we have, we stay in contact with them through targeting on Facebook with relevant, valuable information. With messaging, we use a lot of automation. So we might send out like a text message or an email. And again, it's done in good taste, with respecting the client's space, if you will, their kind of digital space, and it's really just about providing value and providing relevant content that they might find useful, and staying in front of those people digitally, usually, until they're ready to transact with us.
Right. And by useful content, imagine during the conversation that the concierge team has, one area, of course, they'll ask, what area are you interested in? And then if they provide that, but they're not ready to do a transaction or ready to go further. So then I'm guessing you send content related to that area, perhaps, so they can see what's going on in that market, how prices are trending, transactions that are happening, developments in that neighborhood, and so on. Is that the kind of content you will send them?
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, we always get permission from them that it's okay for us to send that information to them. And a lot of times we already have that information because they filled out a form.
Right.
And they've submitted the information online to us already. So we already know. So we might just say, hey, we'll stay in contact. We'll send you some information if it's okay with you. And, and anytime you're ready, feel free to reach back out to us. And, and then sometimes we'll reach out with a phone call. And if there's something that might be interesting to them based on their initial inquiry or the conversation, we'll make sure they're aware of it. A lot of times I think people, they're just looking for information, right? I mean, they just want info. And so if we can, and there's so much of it already out there. So if we can distinguish ourselves as an information source that can provide information that maybe isn't available to them online, I think that becomes more valuable. So we try to do that as well.
Right. Yeah, definitely. That would be something people would appreciate, and they will be more likely to pay attention when you send them information that's only available from you and no one else.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share a little bit about what your plans are for 2019?
Yeah, people always ask, like we do a lot of calls with agents that are wanting to join our company or do calls like this, and people always ask, what's your goal? Like, do you want to continue growing your company? The answer is we want to grow. There's no end in sight with the growth. But it's really about growing with the right people. So we've been able to build our company in a way that is the people that work with us are very down to earth. Like, culture is really important. It's all about, there's no egos. Like, we work together. Everyone kind of works as a team, as I mentioned. I've been in an office environment before where, like, I've been a new agent, and I'm like eager and I want to learn, and then I go ask a question of a top producing agent in our office or whatever, and then I get like the cold shoulder. That's not a good feeling. So we built this company to be the complete opposite of that. That feeling that I personally had, like, I don't want anyone to ever feel that. It's like heartbreaking,
Yeah.
Some eager, like naive, whatever, like this person that wants to ask a question, then they get shut down. So my goal has always been to be the complete opposite, create an environment where and when you can think about that feeling, if you can feel that I just described, think about the complete opposite of that. And that's the goal that we have with our company. We want everyone to feel really good, inspired, have an abundance mentality. So one of the big challenges too, I think, in our industry and really in business period, is people have a scarcity mindset. Like, I don't want to share my knowledge with you, because if you find out what I'm doing, you're going to steal it and you're going to go do it yourself. Well, I would challenge people that feel that way to think like this instead. The information that you're so worried about sharing, I can Google that. I can find out what you're doing. If you're doing it at a high level, people probably know about it, and I can look it up online. Okay, there's probably nothing out there, that very small percentage of information out there that's not available. Number one. Number two, when I share my expertise, which is, I do it all the time. I mean, I speak on stage. I go and talk at different conferences, and I teach people exactly what we do at our company, so they can go do it too. And maybe someone listening might think like that's not a smart thing to do. I would again say that I would challenge you to think differently on that, because by sharing information that's valuable with people are going to naturally reciprocate, right? So I've actually learned so much more by sharing with people, because they've come back and shared information that's worked for them. And you end up creating an abundance sort of an environment, and you end up hanging out and spending time with people that are doing things at a high level that also have that mentality. The sky's the limit. So that's sort of how that's in terms of growth is the way that I want to grow the company, is with people that have that mindset, and there's no end in terms of, like, we'll continue to bring those types of people on. We'll continue to grow. We'll continue to help our clients with that sort of mentality and mindset, and that's the goal. That's what we want to do.
And just from a pure market size wise, there's no reason why you need to be continuing to focus only on San Francisco neighborhoods, right? I mean, you could easily grow throughout the Bay Area?
Sure. We have offices all over California, actually. We have agents everywhere.
Okay, so your transactions, your real estate transactions aren't just in the San Francisco neighborhoods then?
Right. It's San Francisco. It's the East Bay. It's Southern California, Orange County. We just opened something in Newport Beach, all over Northern and Southern California.
Okay, that's good to know. So things definitely have been going really well for you. What are the challenges that you see that you need to overcome to continue your growth?
It's a good question. Really, I think challenge would be finding the right people to grow with. Also scale, so you always want to think about like scaling your company. How can you duplicate things at a high level? Right now, I want to find people like the way I was before I started the company, and then help them grow their businesses and kind of work in a way that we can collaborate together. So maybe bringing people on to join our company that are doing things at a high level, but want to just take it a step further, or 10 steps further, or 1,000 steps further, and utilizing some of the things that we've been able to take advantage of that have helped us grow. So finding those people is a goal of mine, and I think there's really a lot of synergy that could, and some really big like things that can happen if somehow I can connect with those types of people. And we are talking to people like that, but I want to do it on a larger scale. So that's one challenge. I think we'll overcome that challenge this year by bringing on certain people that will help us sort of find the right fit with regards to the right candidates, and just really partnering and collaborating with other people within our industry. And that's not really a challenge. It's just something I want to continue to do. So
how about in terms of the marketing side of things, in terms of generating more leads for your team, especially as you grow, the demand for the leads will be growing as well?
So one thing with that is, because we've generated so many, we have like 200,000 contacts in our database. And, I don't know if that's a large amount of people to someone in a different industry, but I think in real estate, it's a pretty good amount of contacts we've generated in the last like 3 years or so. So that alone is a lead source in itself. So all the people that have made those inquiries, they're not all ready to transact right away, right? So we have a massive lead source within our own database, and we've been working on that. So, and in addition to that, we've continually increased the lead flow externally, and we'll continue doing that. One thing we've recently rolled out is kind of packaging our platform for people that have teams, for brokerages, and offered our sort of system to them as a package. So, for example, if they're generating leads, they don't need to create their own structure with regards to how to convert leads at a high level. All they have to do is provide those leads to us. We'll convert them. We'll pre-qualify and do everything that we do that we're so good at doing, and then turn them back to that company or that team, so they can go meet the client or whatever. So we've been doing that, and that's worked out really well. Just continually growing on Facebook, increasing our presence on YouTube. That's a big platform. Utilizing video and targeting the right audiences, and just kind of being everywhere all the time, being visible. I think in our this era that we're in with social media, the one who makes the most noise wins.
Yeah. Do you feel you have a good grip on who the right audience is to target?
Depending on, I do. I think yes, definitely. Every audience has a different message, right?
Yep.
So they'll be more they'll be more engaged with the right messaging. So if we're targeting sellers, and want to do a certain type of messaging for a seller versus a buyer versus an agent that we want to recruit. So absolutely. And I think, videos where we're going to be focusing more in 2019, utilizing YouTube. That's would be a big thing for us, and just being everywhere, being visible.
Yeah. I imagine even within the bigger buckets you just mentioned, buyers, sellers, agents, even within each of those categories, there are different gradations within there, right? Right. I mean, starter homes, second homes, vacation homes to start, homes that are in the $1 million range versus $10 million range. Right? I imagine all those would have a different message as well.
Definitely, and then the same thing with agents that are brand new versus agents that are seasoned versus agents that have teams versus agents that are luxury agents. So everyone has their own messaging, and it's really just, again, it comes back down to one thing: value and relevancy. So what is in it for me?
Yeah,
that's what the consumer is asking, right? So
yep.
I'm watching this. Even anyone listening to this, what's in it for me? Why am I listening to this? So there has to be some sort of a value that's being provided, and so we're going to be focusing on that more and more. It's already ingrained in what we do, but we just want to get better and better, and we're going to definitely do that. The other thing is, individually, personally, I personally just want to be around people that are doing things at a higher level than I am. So, I really believe that if I'm the smartest guy in the room, I'm in the wrong room, right? So I want to be like the least knowledgeable person, and I want to be around people that are doing things at a bigger level, not only financially, I mean, spiritually, health-wise, as a parent, whatever it is that we're doing. I think it's important too, like as a business owner, not only to think financial, like think outside of that too, because that everything works together. So if I'm doing good spiritually, if I'm doing good with my health, that's going to help me financially just as much as being financially well off will help me with my health and everything else. So it's all, kind of it's all in collaboration with one another. So when I'm thinking about, I want to be around people that are doing it at a higher level than me. Yes, I'm thinking financially and business and success and everything. Of course, yes, absolutely. But also in other realms within life, I think it's important.
Oh yeah,
to be,
definitely. Life is more than just your business.
Yeah.
Two last questions for you. Who are your ideal clients? And from clients, just from what you shared, I mean, you probably have in your mind ideal buyers, ideal sellers, ideal agents, ideal partners. Who are those people, and what's the best way for them to contact you and your team?
Really, an ideal client is really anyone that has a need to buy or sell property. That's it. Whether it's an investor, whether it's a first-time home buyer, whether it's a seller, whether it's someone that's empty nester, it's anyone that is interested in buying or selling a home in California, where we have coverage almost everywhere in California. And so that would be one. Number two is any agent that is looking to grow their business, that is interested in technology, is interested in lead generation, that's interested in systems, it's interested in scaling. Those are people that would be a great fit at Marker. We've had some really amazing success stories with agents that have come on at different levels, high top producing agents that want to build their business, or want to grow a team, or newer agents that have never done a deal before, have come on and made the most amount of money they've ever made in their life in their first 6 months with us. So it's really a great environment for those types of people. And to get a hold of us, go to our website, markersf.com or markerrealestate.com, and you can reach out to us there and be happy to help.
Thanks for joining us today, Kevin, and sharing how you accelerated your company's high-value sales.
Great to be with you, Malcolm. Thanks for doing this. This has been really fun.
We've been speaking with Kevin Markarian, the founder of Marker Real Estate, about his company's rapid growth. For interviews with other fast-growing, high-value sales companies, or to learn how we can accelerate your firm's high-value sales through automation, visit eversprint.com.